Welcome back to the Steps Arm Podcast. Honest conversation, unfiltered opinions, stories you won't hear in a briefing. Subscribe now and hear the side of service no one talks about, but everyone remembers. I'm your host, Tim Hunsaker, and I have my co-hosts with me, Hunter
Cool.
and Johnson.
Hey, yeah, what's up? Damn, my throat is like trying to die.
Can't die before we even start, man. My goddamn.
All right.
What's our topic for the day?
Today's topic is going to be, what's the most confidently wrong thing you've ever heard in uniform?
Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like that goes, uniform, civilian side, no matter where you at in life, somebody's going to say something and they're like, sure, it's the right answer. And you're like, damn, you're kind of dumb. Like, what is going on right now? Like, man, the sky is definitely freaking red out there. That thing's blue as crap. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, but, no, I feel like this one could be kind of funny. We definitely can get some good, people say stupid stuff. Everybody thinks they're the smartest person in the room until they get proven wrong, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, hit me with it.
All right. So our first comment was the majority of state guards' budgets are state funded. Title 32 money is federal money. Now, I mean, talking on this, so like, Title 32 is federal just because you're on active duty orders.
Right.
But, and then like, if you're Title 32 as a technician, you're a federal technician, right?
Also true, yeah.
With a requirement to be in the National Guard or in a reserve component. So it kind of explains for itself, but any other funding that comes from the state, or that is for the state, is from the state, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense. You get put on federal orders, you're getting paid by the feds.
Yeah.
You're not on federal orders, you're getting paid by the state.
Like state active duty orders, you're getting paid by the state. Plain and simple. I feel like that one's
Just a quick comment about state active duty orders, formerly known as SAD orders. This is back in the day. For those of you who don't know, yeah, I get to say back in the day because I'm that old now. For those of you who don't know, it used to only be like $40 a day.
That was horrible.
It was terrible. I was put on freaking when we had the 1,000-year flood. I was put on orders for like 2 weeks, and I made nothing. Like I got less than nothing to go with.
Disgusting, brother.
It was terrible.
I remember those slummy days.
Yeah, there was something now and then and then I got put on sad orders, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be terrible. And then like I got my paycheck, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually active
Like,
duty
actually
pay. Like
good
this
active
is
duty
nice.
pay,
I'm
yeah.
not mad about this at all. Prorated BAH and everything. What is going on right now? So
Yep.
it definitely has improved since then.
Yes. I mean, I remember when I first got put on SAD orders, and everybody was like, oh, don't do it. And I was like, oh, no, it'll be a good experience. And, like, I was a technician at the time.
Oh god.
Getting, like, wage grade 10 pay or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, everybody was like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, no, it'll be cool. And, like, I ended up making so little from that I had to use leave
Just to make
just
some
to
money.
still make the money that I would normally make from my regular job.
It's rough, man.
Damn.
It's rough out there in the
crazy.
streets.
Easy.
Hard out here being sad. Fucked up, man.
What's next?
I remember sitting through the IT finance class with all the other 200 or so privates and private first classes. Like most other people, I was drowning. Oh, shit. I can't. Okay. Like most other people, I was droning in or out of the finance guy. What the fuck is he saying?
I think he's trying to say he's zoning in and out and just
Okay.
mistyped.
I'm just gonna read what the fuck he said. Like most other people, I was droning in or out as the finance guy gave the class, but I perked up when I heard this. You should hold off on paying off your credit cards to let the credit build.
Oh, okay. I was always told you should pay it down to a certain amount,
Mhm.
like $50,
Certain amount of utilization, and then
Yeah.
you kind of just let it stay
because
to
you
extend
don't.
credit history.
If you just pay off your credit card immediately, it doesn't. Like it's basically as if you paid for it in cash.
Right.
Mhm.
So you gotta let it hit, so you can build your credit. But you don't want it to hit on like you use your card to pay for something that's like $1,000 and you got like a 20% interest rate. You fucking shit yourself. $200. That's wild.
Right.
So definitely pay it down first is what I was always told.
Yes. So somebody commented on this and said, "Yeah, when I'm getting a tumor removed, I should only get some of it cut out." I fucking hate this advice.
Yeah.
And I mean, I agree. Like the advice given, I feel like it was taken poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say he was zoning in and out. He
Yes.
probably zoned in on the part where they just said, don't pay it off, and not the
Um,
part where he said, pay it down.
But it's like, wait a minute, bitch. Don't pay it off.
Now,
Whoa.
when it comes to like your credit and utilization and all that stuff, I mean, they say at a minimum you should utilize less than 50% of whatever your total credit is, right? But like generally speaking, you know, like for that first year, if you get like an introductory rate of like 0% for X amount of months,
Yep.
use the card and then pay it off before you get charged any interest. Because then you're showing a year of good use and you're not getting charged any interest. And then after that, just like pay it down to where it's like, oh, it shows that you were using the card and leaving like a really small balance, like nothing too crazy, like, oh, you might get charged $2 in interest or something like that, if that.
Yeah.
And then pay the card off. Because usually you want to use the card, pay the card off, have it go a month where it shows a zero balance, use the card. And that way it's showing like you have good financial,
Savvy, huh?
yeah, you're like financially savvy and you're like good at making your payments on time
Yeah.
and
Good
keeping your
spending
balances
habits.
low, but you're
Yeah.
also using it, so you have good
Habits there.
spending habits. Thank you. I mean, there's a lot that goes into like credit utilization and like proper use,
Yeah.
which none of us are very good at in the military. I
Yeah.
feel like, you know,
Well,
at least
you're-
the majority of us aren't that great.
I mean,
I've made
you're,
my
the,
own
you're the
mistakes.
guru on money out of the three of us. So,
He is our money guru.
Yeah.
He-
Yeah.
He has a lot of it.
Wow. And then we had a couple more comments. So somebody else said that's not necessarily horrible advice. Need debt to build credit. This is true. But that being said, like you don't need debt to build credit. You just need to show payments, right? Because you can build credit with just like something as simple as like paying for Netflix or paying your phone bill or paying for an Xbox, you know, unlimited Game
Yeah.
Pass, you know, like unlimited or whatever, right? Like there's so many different ways to like build credit now. Like I feel like this advice is outdated
That's fair.
because there's so many other ways to track good payment history
Yep.
that it's not really the honest truth anymore. Like you having a balance and you just having like, oh, you have X amount of credit and you're not using that much of this credit anymore, like looks better when you're also making payments on like a car loan or a house, or you can even like upload into, you know, like Equifax or Experian. You can also log in and put in your rent checks. Like
You're
it can attach to your bank account and show that you're making monthly payments towards everything, and it'll boost your credit. So there's just so many other ways out there now that you can show that you're making good payments and have good payment history that you don't really need to have debt to build credit anymore.
It's true.
Now you might build credit faster if you have some debt, but I wouldn't say that it's a necessity anymore.
I mean, I kind of lucked out because I bought my first car right before I deployed to Afghanistan, and I knew about what was it called, the Soldiers, Sailors, Airmen Relief Act or whatever, where your interest rate can't go above 6% while you're in deployed status. And
I mean, it's just while you're on active duty orders, actually.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was 19 whenever I used this, so so I bought my car, and they were like they're like, hey, are you sure you want this freaking like 17% interest rate? I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. They're like, all right, like you got no credit, so we got no choice. You got to have 17%. I was like, I don't give a fuck what you hit me with. And then like before I even made my first payment, I handed them my orders, and they were like, oh, dropping you 6%, got it, and I paid it off before I came back. So
I did that with a truck that I purchased, and it wasn't anywhere near 17%, but
it was. I mean, I had no credit, zero credit.
it was at like an 8% interest rate or something like that because it was a used truck, and like as soon as I went on AGR orders, we had to go through like an AGR finance class that everybody has to go through because it's really easy to go from not making what you make as AGR to making what you make with BH and all that stuff, and be like, man, like this is a great paycheck, and then overextending yourself with all the stuff that you decide to go buy.
100%.
and,
It was an eye opener.
And so they kind of like, they help you out, right?
Probably me.
Not every state does it. But essentially they were like, yeah, so if you have a loan for X amount, like you could give them a copy of your orders and they'll reduce it down to 6%, right? And so I was like, oh, I'm going to try that. So I gave the bank that I had the loan with a copy of the orders and they dropped it down to 6%. And they just kept my payment the same. And so I paid that truck off like way faster just because I was like, I didn't say anything about payment requirements or anything like that. So I just kept the same payment, paid the truck off in like 18 months instead of 60.
That's nice.
So there's a lot of cool things out there. There's a couple more comments. I mean, one of them is just like, you're confidently wrong. You don't understand fundamentals of finance. Debt is essential. I'm not saying to run a huge balance, but managing debt and loans by paying on time and demonstrating good habits encourage credit growth. Also true. And then the last comment was, let me make sure I understand you. Are you saying that you should hold off on paying your credit cards to let the credit build is not necessarily horrible advice? So we kind of already went over this. Like it's not horrible advice, but it's not great advice. You still have to make your minimum payments at the bare minimum, obviously.
Right, yeah.
And it's better to pay more than the minimum than leave it with a bigger balance because you're going to pay interest on the larger balance.
Right.
But you do kind of need some debt to help build your credit. Start.
For anybody who's listening that just wanted to come in and get some solid financial advice, you can go ahead and stop now. We're not going to talk about
I feel like that's going to be the end of the finance talk forward. If anybody is like got more questions, shoot us a comment or something. You know,
We're going to start charging
hit us
for
up
this.
on Reddit.
We're accountants. We're going to start charging for this advice. All right, next.
But we'll go ahead and move on. The next comment is that the laws of war prohibit overkill, such as using a 50 cal or a light anti-tank weapon against personnel. But that is entirely permissible as long as you say you were really aiming at the equipment they were wearing, specifically their LBE or load-bearing equipment harness.
Yes, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I saw this. I said, "Oh shit, yes, I've heard this."
Most of the time, we were always told like, "Oh, shoot at the vehicle. Don't
Yeah.
shoot at the driver." And you know, if you hit the driver, hey,
I mean,
50 cals have a pretty widespread.
I mean, I've seen some pretty crazy things happen from this. Like, you can, you know, if the trajectory is right and you're like shooting at the engine block, which is what you're told to do in a convoy, right?
Yeah.
If you're on like rear security and you have a vehicle coming up from behind, you're supposed to take out the vehicle, right? Not the person, the
Yeah,
vehicle.
you disable the
Disable
vehicle, so
the
that way
vehicle.
it can't do
But
whatever.
I've seen, because, I mean, early on, and this is before I was even in, they had 50 cals mounted. But then later, they just went to 240s.
Yeah.
249s, right? And a 240 and a 249, they'll bounce off the hood and just hit the driver. Like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
I've seen that
A
happen.
50 cal will punch
50
straight through
Yeah,
that thing.
50 cal, go right into the engine block and it'll disable the vehicle, right?
I think that was the problem. We were just breaking too many people's shit. Motherfuckers just don't pay attention whenever you point a 50 cal at somebody, they don't get scared. I don't know why.
That's what
I feel
heard.
like it's just the region.
Yeah, well, and that the crazy thing was they were more scared of our pistols than they were of our like rifles and stuff like that because pistols were used for executions.
Mm.
So you
Damn.
draw a pistol on somebody and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm really gonna get killed." They know that we have all these regulations like the shoot. What is it? The shout, show, shove, shoot. Where you're supposed to shout at them, tell them to stop, and then you're supposed to show your weapon, like point it at them, but you can't shoot them yet. And then if they get too close, you shove them back, which I think is wild.
That's
that you
fucking
let them,
crazy.
Like, the fuck, you're supposed to hit them
After
with a barrel.
displaying
let
a
them
weapon,
get that
I'm still
close.
shoving.
Yeah,
It's
like,
crazy.
yeah. If they're still coming at me after I display the weapon, like that's wild. But you're supposed to shove them with like the barrel of the rifle or something and get them away from you, and then you do a warning shot.
Yep.
And then you can shoot.
Nah.
And it all depends on the scenario and like the rules of engagement, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, of course, but typically speaking, you know, in regards to like the overkill rule, you're not supposed to use a 50 cal or a law on personnel.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
They're not anti-personnel weapons.
No.
So you can't use them or you're not supposed to use them for anti-personnel purposes. Right. Yes, that makes sense. Was that Geneva Convention? shit or
It's the
something?
Geneva Convention law, yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, the only comment on this comment was, "Holy shit, I forgot that was this about this one."
Mhm.
And I mean, it's one of those things that you don't really think about because the rules of engagement have changed so much over time. You know, generally speaking, we don't really mount a 50 cal as often anymore.
Yeah. We realized that we weren't fighting freaking armored vehicles.
Yeah.
So we took our 50 cals off and put 249s because we were more likely to be fighting people.
Yep.
So just makes
Um,
sense.
It's a little easier to maneuver and stuff like that too. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next comment.
Moving on.
The Army doesn't have to feed you. And this apparently is from a Sergeant Fall in circa 2019.
Yeah, like that's the crazy part is they would at drill sometimes they would release us before 12 just so they wouldn't have to feed us.
Yeah.
Or like if you stay past 5, they have to
Now-
feed you dinner.
now
I mean,
I
granted,
will-
it could be an MRE.
Now I will say this. So I've been to plenty of drills before I went, active duty and everything, where I'd show up and like the policy states that you have to be provided with chow, or that you have to be provided time to go get it.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. They would always just be like, "Cool, you have, like, chow starts now. You have to be back at X time,"
Yeah, that's.
and everybody'd leave.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
very
nobody
rarely are
wants
you
to
going to
eat that
stay
crap.
there.
Yeah.
But occasionally, like we always run into people that were like, "Oh no, you're good," and we're like, "Hey man, like if it has to do with like if it's a money issue, like I'll buy you lunch,
Yeah, we take care of it.
whatever, right?" Just for like the younger
Mhm.
privates or like the ones that just had babies, things like that, right?
Yeah.
And whatnot. But so I mean, like if you want to get technical, like yeah, the Army doesn't have to feed you; they just have to provide you with
Time.
time
Yeah.
to eat.
At least.
Right.
That does make sense.
But if you want to get technical with that, yes, they are supposed to provide you with food if you don't have means to provide yourself with it
Yeah.
in the time that's given.
Yeah. 'Cause-
But it's going to be an MRE.
Yeah. And like there would be so many times we would get released from drill at like 6 o'clock, and like our first sergeant would be like, "Hey, there's a box of MREs by the door. Like, grab you one on the way out the door." Like, man, motherfucker, I ain't grabbing a damn.
Yeah, I'm not grabbing
MRE.
that shit.
Wild.
Man. What the fuck? I'm not getting an MRE to go. What the fuck is wrong with you
I
guys?
remember they would do that for like AT. This is back in the day.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where because like at AT we were in an FSC, so like we had cooks and they cooked every single meal for us,
Yeah. Same here.
but they still had to provide us with an MRE for every day. And
Mm.
so
Yeah, at least
every
one
single
a day.
person would get like 2 cases of MREs or a case plus 2. And there's 12 in a case.
Yeah.
And so they'd be like, "Hey, grab your MREs on the way out," and we would literally just take and go put them in our personal vehicles. No one took those to treatment. Like,
No.
Damn.
I just had a closet full of MREs.
I'm pretty sure I still have a box of MREs lying around somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure I did too.
Response to that comment was big 3-year sergeant energy. Slot promotions make sergeants, time makes NCOs. And I really like that comment.
I do like that comment.
It's a very true thing. It's very
Yes.
fucking true.
I mean, that being said, like, I mean, you're gonna have those, like, solid soldiers that are
Mhm.
just gonna take on that like natural leadership role.
Hmm.
But you also have those that like they look good on paper, but
Mhm.
maybe not necessarily actually great, and so they get promoted ahead of other people that would be better suited for the positions.
But I think regardless, even if like they're good on the uptake, I think regardless, like there's a time factor that's needed.
Oh, time's
Time
always going to make
experience is
them
always
better.
needed.
Yeah, because just experience in general is going to
Mhm.
make you, a better leader because you're going to have more knowledge and you're going to be able to share that knowledge.
What's that old saying? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. I just feel like giving some people power, it goes straight to their head and they start saying stuff like, "We don't have to feed you."
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's disgusting though because like in that example, it would be absolute power that corrupts people. You just getting some authority with pay grade, it's not absolute power.
That's true.
But
yeah.
for some people, that's enough. That's enough for corruption.
When you go from a little specialist that being told what to do and having no authority, and now
Yep.
all of a sudden you're in charge of 3 other souls, and
Yeah.
their lives, their peace of mind is dependent on you, and you
Yep.
can just fucking
You can
make
fuck
them
'em.
have a miserable
You
time.
can fuck them and make your day better because you can fuck them. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
That's something I never understood. Like, I don't know. I like taking care of soldiers.
Mhm.
It's part of why I became a recruiter is I like taking care of people. So,
Mhm.
because I was taken care of when I was coming up. Like
Yeah.
some of my old stories I talk about, like I got smoked and stuff like that. But it was all it was funny. We all laughed about it at the end. It wasn't
Yeah.
like,
Right.
and most of the time I fucking deserved it. So I was a dumbass private. Um, but so like just going out and just being an asshole, just be an asshole, especially when you're in an NCO role, like it just doesn't make sense to me. So,
Mhm.
but anyway, moving on.
Crazy work, man. Next comment. Heading out for my first deployment, we flew from Chicago down to Missouri. As we landed, a young and dumb me asked, to no one in particular, did we just land on a military base? A very unserious question that didn't really need an answer. The female specialist sitting near me got a sudden superiority complex and said something to the effect of, a civilian plane cannot land on a military base. I work in Springfield, so I know what I'm talking about. She had a very condescending tone. So, anyways, as we looked out the window of the plane, as what's onset hut? That's what it's saying. Onset hut. After Humvee, after oh my God, after onset hut. Let's take this shit back.
Past us.
As we look at, so as we look down the windows of the plane, as onset hut after Humvee after onset hut passed us by, the silence in that section of the plane was very loud. I don't, I don't like the
So
word.
basically, he's just saying that like while they landed and were coming to a stop,
And they could see.
they could see
everything going by.
Humvees after military building after Humvees after military building. Like, cause military installation has very distinct buildings. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
all very similar in the way they look.
Yeah.
And whatever, right? And so I think that's just basically what he's saying. Is like, it was obvious that they landed a civilian plane on a
On a
military,
military
base.
base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. After the girl just said nah.
And
they don't do
that
that.
she works in Springfield, so she knew what she was talking about.
Oh, that's wild.
Don't forget that part.
Yeah, that's
And the
super,
condescending tone.
that's
Condescending silence. As that shit was happening, just, it's crazy, bitch. It's real crazy.
I mean, I don't really have too much more to say on that one. I feel like that's just
it's pretty.
hey,
Hey.
specialists didn't know better than the private in that instance. I mean,
Hey,
happens.
play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
Pry, I guess I must not have been Pacific enough. I don't know if it's supposed to be specific.
It's supposed to be specific.
Pry, I guess I must not have been specific enough. Only the SAR major can caveat off what the commander said.
Oh, that's wild. The amount of times that like everyone just caveat. I want to caveat off of what I want to caveat off of. This would behoove you. We already had a whole topic on this. I do
And the
not.
response is killer. He was like, but it was just a piggyback, not a full caveat. Hey, yo. Hey, yo, I'm fucking weak. I am
We're just
fucking
gonna
weak.
piggyback off of what the serve said. I hate that. Anybody who piggybacks off of what anyone says, I want to fight them.
Just to piggyback off of what Hunter said, if you do that, I also want to fight you.
All right.
Yeah, let's move on before I get my blood pumping. All that.
All right, moving on to the next one. I had an old sergeant who told me when I was a young private on a deployment that the best way to cool down an engine of any vehicle you're using was to remove the radiator cap while the vehicle is still on. This man wasn't being malicious. He legitimately thought this and attempted to do it on a front end loader, a tram, that we had been using for hours. Needless to say, he has a couple of burns on his body now.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
freaking bet. That's
This is wild. Like, anybody with any kind of mechanical experience or sense would know this is a bad idea.
anybody who doesn't have it. This thing hot, don't open.
I mean, it literally says on there, like, under pressure, hot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that liquid is hundreds of degrees. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
Crazy.
I mean, as
Hey, shout
previously
out.
stated, play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
Hey, shout out to bro, man. Shout out to
I mean-
bro.
Like, this dude said, like, he wasn't being malicious. Like, he genuinely was being serious and even tried to do it himself and found out very quickly that that's not the right answer, and you don't cool a vehicle down that way.
I just want to know how he thought. Like, was he just like, oh man, I know if it gets like it's cold outside, so like if I open it, it'll cool off quickly. That makes sense. Like I think that makes sense.
I don't
Like
know.
this, I don't know. It's
I mean, I feel like all the warnings on the cap itself would deter you from opening it.
yeah, 100%. That and the fact that it's hot as fuck. I mean, even the cap gets hot.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and while the vehicle's running too, like,
oh yeah, that's wild.
because it's cycling fluid
Yeah.
to keep the engine cool. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I read this one while I was waiting for the doctor this morning, and I don't know. Because I was like, I couldn't think of a good answer.
I always had like this. I had this sergeant who had like a master's degree. I think we talked about this before. He had a master's degree in history. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked about it on the podcast. And like that, I feel like he's one of the people who would do that.
Oh,
100%.
that's fucked up.
He's one of the people who would do that. Anyway, sorry, just thought about that. Let's keep it rolling.
All right. Next comment. In '03 told two of my soldiers having a personal conversation, you're not allowed to speak Spanish in the Army. English is the official language. AR 600-2062 specifies that English is the Army's operational language. Commanders may require Army personnel to use English when performing official duties, but may not require the use of English for personal conversations which are unrelated to official duties. I took him to the side and told him what the reg says. He was a great commander, and I didn't want him to step on his own dick and end up with an EO complaint. So, funnily enough, I heard a lot of this shit in basic training. And it would be like Hispanic on Hispanic crime, because it was our Hispanic drill sergeant that would be like, hey, bruh, but he didn't know how to speak Spanish. He's just of Hispanic descent. He would come up and be like, hey, y'all can't be speaking that shit in the Army. English is the language we speak, but it would be literally in this capacity. Peer-to-peer, personal conversations, they just doing their own shit, nothing official about it. And I just used to be like, bro, I feel like that's not accurate. Till I went later on, figured more shit out. But I just was like, I don't know if I really fuck with that. Because I also felt like this was, like I added that part in, I felt like this was some targeted attack type shit. Because he doesn't know how to speak Spanish. And I know this has been like a hurdle in his life. Like, just something that kind of fucks with him. So, it's not neat.
I've seen people in, of Hispanic descent, that maybe they were born in the States, right? But,
Yep.
like, they don't speak Spanish. And people assume that they do.
Yep.
And it happens all the time. And so I could see where he's got this kind of like animosity towards others that do speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
in
it's also
uniform.
a drill sergeant, so
Yeah.
honestly, they'll just say something just to say something. So.
Yes, true. So, it's different with a drill. 100%.
Yeah.
I
To an
mean,
extent.
like, kind of interesting to this. I was attending a drill in California. We're not going to talk about why.
Yeah.
And first formation was in Spanish, like the whole entire thing. And I'm standing there as a newly promoted E5, like, what the fuck is going on? Because I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, now
And
that.
but I will be honest, I was the only white guy in the whole formation. So, like, I'm sitting here like, what in the world is going on right now? And I could just see, like, the first sergeant was just, like, staring right at me while the commander's up there giving his, like, talking after the first sergeant talked. And I'm just, like, trying not, like, I don't know. It was wild. And then they pulled me, the platoon sergeant pulled me aside afterwards and was just like, you don't speak Spanish, do you? I was like, no. And kind of gave me the gist of what we were going to do for the day. Wild experience. So, yes, English is the official language, for the military, for official use, like, to perform our duties in. But, I mean,
If Spanish is convenient.
it's also, like, up to the commander, I guess,
Yeah.
if you want to put it in that context, right? Because if everybody in the unit speaks Spanish,
Speaks Japanese, speaks
whatever
Korean.
it might be, like, I don't see anything wrong with using that as long as somebody is not getting, I mean, in that situation, they didn't know.
Yeah.
And they just went with what was routine for them, right?
Mhm.
But,
But it's really just like if the commander started writing up an op order or something, it would probably be in English.
Yeah.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's an official military document, so it'd have to be in English.
Yes.
That makes sense. But anyway, moving on further.
Next comment. I will never forget the guy in my AIT class who thought people came to the Americas via continental drift. He wasn't some drooling imbecile either, just very poorly educated on basic scientific facts.
Continental drift. I read this one because it was like one of the original comments. No, I don't even really know what to say. I mean, I will say like Columbus, like
Boats are a wild invention.
yeah, boats were invented long before. Um, anyway, just crazy. I mean, I'm not saying there weren't people here prior to that, and yes, technically speaking, continental drift
Some
played
people
into
might have
that,
made it,
but like
yeah.
people were just here when the continents divided, and they just stayed.
Yeah,
If you want to get technical,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's crazy. It's pretty wild. Kind of a wild thing to say.
Fucking Baron straight. Had an idiot insist. Oh shit. Had an idiot insist he was from Iowa on the Indian line. He was from Ohio and said the drill sergeant had photoshopped the map in the classroom to make him look dumb.
Wait, what?
All right. So he said, I had an idiot insist he was from Iowa on the Indiana line. He was from Ohio and said that the drill sergeant had photoshopped the map in the classroom to make him look dumb.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you're at training, the drill sergeant will have everybody like say where they're from, and they've
On a
got like a
map.
map or whatever, but it's on like a PowerPoint.
Yep.
Okay. And so the drill sergeant could have totally fucked with this just to fuck with their new privates, right?
Mhm.
Like it happens. It's a doable thing.
Yeah,
But honestly, like, and I don't know how old this person is, but having worked in plenty of high schools, some people can't read a map. So, I mean, this dude could have looked at it, and if they didn't have, like, Ohio, Indiana, Oklahoma, whatever, Iowa, like, he probably just pointed and was just wrong. I don't know. But the comment said, to be honest, if I was the drill sergeant, I would do some shit like that to fuck with my trainees.
And I'm not gonna lie, I agree.
I agree. Drill sergeant probably has done this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that should be funny as fuck. There's particular ways you'd have to do it to get away with it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't do some egregious shit like photoshopping the map. You can probably get away with one egregious thing, but like, I feel like the best ones would just be you doing little small things. That unless people really know a map, it'll just whoosh.
Yeah,
It just whoosh over people.
Yeah.
So,
like change some lettering or something.
Or just changing the placement of cities.
Yeah.
shit like that.
Because if you just change, like, some of the capitals around,
Yeah, switch the capitals. I was
different
literally
areas
just
on the
saying.
map,
Mhm.
like, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I've lived close to, Dallas or something like that, right? And it's like, I don't know. I can just see this getting extremely fun extremely quickly for a drill sergeant.
Slap Dallas in freaking California.
Yeah,
the fuck?
I mean,
You
that's a
live in
little
California?
excessive. I mean, it's still got to be somewhat close to, like, Texas, but...
Just swap north and South Carolina capitals and shit.
Oh yeah, that'd be
From
fun.
Columbia, South Carolina. You sure about that, trainee?
Oh, man.
Should be good, man.
Make the capital of North Carolina freaking Charlotte instead of Raleigh.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on. I had an E4 get into an argument with an E5 once over a 249 being an open or closed bolt. He genuinely believed a 249 was a closed bolt weapon system. We were on a live fire range, and he was helping another Joe try to sight in the ACOG on his saw. Did I mention we were infantry? And this E5 had done this prior with the 240. Only time I've ever raised my voice and chewed out a higher rank, and I'll do it every day of the week.
Yeah. I mean,
Having been in a similar situation,
Oh shit. Okay. Let's talk about it.
yeah, I mean, I was like, this is right before I went AGR. Was a specialist, and because I was the state small arms guy on the technician side, my XO was just like, hey, Hunsaker's in charge of the range. And so I was running a live fire range as a specialist, which
it's crazy.
shouldn't do
Yeah.
in general situations. And so they were like, hey, we have X amount of ammo and we need to use all of it, which is a common thing.
Yeah, been there, done
Um,
that.
And so we're just out there just shooting. And I like walk up and I'm just, kind of walking down the line, making sure everything's going as it should. And then I call a ceasefire because this one staff sergeant is pouring water on a 249 barrel to cool it down. And I lost my shit because I'd already told him once, like, don't pour water on the barrels. And just completely lost my shit on this staff sergeant that was doing this in front of all his Joes too, like his whole section. And they all knew me because we'd all come up through the ranks together. Like I'd probably been there as long as that staff sergeant. And he got mad and went to the XO, and the XO basically told him that he's a fucking moron, and that I was right, and he filed a formal complaint.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, this is a sore loser ass.
Yeah, this dude had an issue with it.
Wow.
And it went all the way up to like the battalion commander, and the battalion commander, pulled me and him aside, and we had like a full conversation. The battalion commander was just like, "You're a dumbass." He was just like, at that time I was actually sergeant at this point. So he's like, Sergeant Hunsaker was right in telling you that you were in the wrong, and he was in charge of the range, so he had responsibility over his rank to address you in the manner that he did, because you were doing something that could cause harm to people down the line. Oh yeah, it was great.
Damn.
And that
Did he
wasn't
cry?
like, there
Did
was
you
more.
see a
There was
tear?
like more.
A single tear.
Nah, not for that dude. To give you context on this person, he's a medic, so he's kind of entitled on his own. And he'd had a couple of deployments and all that, whatever.
Yeah, that's not any shots to
No,
medics.
no.
It's just-
Medics are great, just not
Yeah.
this specific person.
Yeah.
He was an okay person.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he was like waiting on getting medically retired. He had like 100% VA disability, so the dude was just like buying his time until he got out.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if this gives you any kind of context as to the nature of him just being there, but you still shouldn't give.
Yeah.
This is still wrong.
Yeah.
You definitely don't pour cold water on a hot barrel.
Yeah. He
Because
was
it's just not. No.
that's some sore loser ass shit for sure.
But
Next comment. I was in basic training at Fort Dix when Iran and took the hostages. We were informed by our command that we would lose our MOSs and be reclassified as 11 Bravos and used as cannon fodder against the Iranians. Of course, this never happened. That's some funny ass shit. Though.
I'm not gonna lie. I would have loved. I would have loved to have been there for this.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
just to hear how it went down, like how this commander explained it to these new trainees at basic
He
training.
probably horseshoe formation on me and was sounding serious as fuck. Like I'm talking about hyper serious.
100%. Like TV in the back, like after they just watched what was going on,
Yeah.
and then they like horseshoe around the commander, and the commander's going over the whole entire thing, explaining that they're no longer going to be going to their actual MOSs, that
Yeah.
every single one's going to be reclassified to 11 Bravo due to an upcoming deployment, all the whole thing.
Unexpected
Oh.
emergency rotation. Hey, y'all finna go fucking die.
I mean, like the cannon fodder, that's a little excessive,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but I could just see the way that I could just see their faces. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of messed up, but I kind of like it.
The only time we ever got talked about them reclassing us was they talked about that if we'd fail, they were going to send us across the street to go be 88 mics, and that's the most they ever talked about us reclassing. So
That's fucked up.
yeah.
I mean, they
Because
can-
what that means is they were hoeing 88 mics.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
That's fucked up.
100%.
It's like, hey, bitch, you
Which
suck.
Is,
You
which
gonna
is
go over there.
crazy because anyone who knows who's like been through Leonardwood for training, whether as an MP or an engineer, knows that the engineers and the MPs hate each other for no fucking reason.
Yep.
And so they wouldn't say you're going to go be an
Inherent beef.
engineer. No, they would say you're going to go be an 88 mic because even the 88 mics that the MPs thought were below the
Damn.
engineers. And that's
Damn.
wild.
Damn.
Because probably out of all three of those, the 88 mics are the most useful.
Yes, the most useful. Yeah.
Because MPs ain't nothing but a bunch of bitches.
Damn,
The
man.
engineers
pleasers.
are a bunch of math nerds that blow shit up. I was both, so fuck it, I can say this.
Say it.
Um,
Say it.
And the 88 mics actually do some shit that's, productive and get stuff moved. So,
Mhm.
Anyway, moving on.
I'll touch on this just a little bit. When I was at AIT, we had the ordnance side, and then you got the quartermaster side at Fort Lee, or well, Fort Greg Adams now, I guess.
I think it's back to Lee again. I don't know.
Whatever it is.
Maybe.
I don't keep up with that.
It's
But our platoon sergeants and our instructors, their favorite thing to do was to just like throw the EOD under the bus, because you could always hear the explosions going on in the background, right? Like occasionally when you're outside doing PT or whatever, and so they'd always be like, oh, there should only be explosions at like these times, and so they're like, that's when they're just like exploding the ordnance to show them, like, like blast rates and all whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they're like, but if you hear it during these hours, then you know that they didn't do their job right. Like, or whatever. Like, the way that they would say it was just like, it was 100%. They were just like hoeing out the EO people, like the EOD, like just, and the EOD guys were squared away. Like, they were great.
Yeah, I mean, well, and it's a job that if you fuck it up, somebody might die.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
For sure.
somebody's
you.
gonna get.
That's why I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, if you're the one that fucks it up,
Or you're blowing up a $1 million
Hey.
robot.
That's why I say shout out to EOD, because you could have never got me to do no shit like that. Fuck no.
Man, they were offering like a huge fucking bonus.
Nope.
I should have done it, man.
Nope, fuck that.
But it's like 2 years of training.
Yeah, it's not. And you have to pass
Yeah,
it.
get a bonus, alright.
Substantially.
Some wings, halo. You get a bonus. Okay.
Oh my
You get a bonus.
Moving on to the next comment. When I was in the Marines, we went to Hawaii for AT one year. This was the golden years of the war on terror with unlimited money. And some random colonel started talking to us about how Saddam Hussein used gas weapons on his own people and how they were technically weapons of mass destruction because they could target many people at once. Now, I'm not now or back then the smartest crayon in the tool shed, but I think we can all agree that when they were saying weapons of mass destruction on the news and preparation for the invasion of Iraq, everyone understood that to mean nuclear weapons.
I'm still hung up on not the smartest crayon in the tool shed. I
Yeah.
love whenever you slap a bunch of analogies together and just like fuck somebody. What is that called? Like when you do an amalgamation of analogies. There's a term for it, and I love it. Like
I was
saying we'll burn that bridge when we get to it instead of. Anyways,
I was just trying not to laugh when I read it, but Johnson had to laugh.
yeah, no, that's
No,
just,
I just love that he did it. I like shit like that.
yeah, that stuff always tickles me. It always makes me laugh. But I'm still like, I don't know. I keep my crayons in my tool shed, so that kind of makes sense. I guess.
Oh my fucking good. Yeah, you gotta do it for when you cutting wood and shit.
Yeah.
But nah, so I think that's just funny as fuck. The whole weapons of mass destruction shit in general. I'm not gonna lie, this has always been the funniest thing ever to me. Just that concept in general. I'm sorry. But yeah, definitely. I don't know. Y'all are older than me, but yeah, my understanding has always been that was a looming threat of nuclear capability. I always thought that was the looming threat. As much as I don't know if there was evidence for that,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I think anytime somebody says weapons of mass destruction, they always just fall on nuclear.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not necessarily the case. I don't know what the book definition of.
But so for example, right? And the reason why I think it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be the case, but I think it for the age of terror that was going on, it needs to be the case.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go invade a country because they have like Moscow producing weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like they just got a bunch of fucking machine guns or something.
Yeah.
So if we go and invade in a country and
Yeah, it's if we.
belt the ass, or at least attempting to, I think it might need to be
Yeah. Yeah.
nuclear heads of war.
It's true. Yeah, I feel like the only way you could reasonably just randomly invade a country would be, they'd have to be able to wipe you off the face of the planet if they used whatever they used.
Or fucking decimate somebody. Like somebody has to, be capable of, catching that fate. response to the comment was, yes, you're correct in that nearly everybody took weapons of mass destruction to mean nuclear weapons, but technically, weapons of mass destruction are any weapons designed to cause widespread death, destruction, and harm to large populations through nuclear, biological, or chemical means. Did Saddam have nukes? No. Did Saddam have weapons of mass destruction based on reports of him gassing large portions of the Iraqi population? Yes, he did. And by targeting a specific subsect of the population, one could argue he was engaged in genocide as well.
Oh,
What was the specific subsect, if y'all know? This is just
I
more
think it was
history
either,
history block for me.
well, because like, what are the? Sorry, we should probably know the answer to this, but because you got like the Saudis, and
Mhm.
then the Sunni and the
Shia.
Shia. Thank you.
Okay.
So I don't actually know which one, but I know that like one of them was targeted, I believe.
Yes. Like, I mean, when we had detainees, if we knew, like, we had to know whether they were Sunni or Shia, and they could not be anywhere near each other.
Yeah,
Like, we'd have to have them in like separate halls in separate cells, and they couldn't. Even their cells couldn't be back to back. Like, you had to have them in like
Oh yeah,
opposite.
I do remember you talking about that one.
Yeah, so that was a, like, and you couldn't have them out at the same time, even though they were blindfolded and like handcuffed and stuff. Still, like, could not even have them in the same general area at the same time. Like, if they both needed, like, because they didn't have bathrooms in their cells, we have to escort them to the bathroom. So, if both of them needed to use the bathroom at the same time, one would just have to wait.
Okay, so I have a question. Do these people look? They all look generally the same.
Yeah,
right?
their beliefs are just a little
It's
bit
just
different.
beliefs.
Yeah,
are
it's
different.
100%.
Okay.
It's like the difference between Baptists and freaking Methodists,
Yeah.
or Catholic or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy. Them boys take that shit very seriously. Okay, hey, shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Now, I'm not a history buff on this, but I'm pretty sure that's the gist of it. Like they just attacked one
One subset
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
yeah.
of
Damn,
the Iraqi.
it's fucked up.
It is 100% genocide.
Be like that.
Yo.
Moving
true.
moving on to the next guy.
It's not the first time it's happened, so.
This is true. This is true.
Um,
Allegedly.
I was teaching two new privates about an M249, and a newly promoted knuckle-dragging sergeant came up to me and called me a dumbass and saying I was wrong for saying that the M249 was chambered in 5.56. I also had zero response for a solid 5 seconds, and he just walked off with a "yeah, I got him" good grin.
Untaker, go ahead. This is hey, go ahead.
I mean, well, the M249 is chambered in
Mhm.
5.56.
100%.
You know, anybody that's used
Fuck do you think it
on a
was,
basis would
7.62?
know.
Yeah, you
I'm
probably
assuming
did.
I'm assuming that this person was just trying to be a smartass and was talking about a 240, which is cheaper, 7.62. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're pretty distinctively different. So I think that, as this person said, he was a newly promoted sergeant, so he's probably just a little high on.
Mhm.
Hey,
A little high on promotion.
See back to our earlier comment about
Yeah.
corruption.
The corruption of his newly found rank and little bit of power that he now had over his couple of subordinates.
Yeah. Bro was finna bust. Like, he just walk around, let me shit on somebody today.
Man, being able to go from talking to your upper enlisted, like, staff sergeants and sergeant first classes, being able to go from talking to them as if they're just like they're a sergeant and you're a lower enlisted to now we're both NCOs is just a completely different feeling that people just trip off of.
Yeah.
Um,
That's fucking crazy.
Kind
I
of.
didn't even think about that, but yeah, that. I guess yeah.
Well, and I remember having a conversation with a buddy that was active duty when I was still M-Day with the Guard.
Mhm.
And he was about to get pinned sergeant, like on the promotion list, knew he was getting promoted, you know, he's above the line.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's going to be crazy because all my friends are, you know, E4 or below. And I was like, in my brain, you know, thinking guard related, like, why does that matter?
Yeah.
right.
And he was like, well, I can't really hang out with them anymore.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, I'm now a sergeant. He's like, so as an NCO, I can't really go hang out with the lower enlisted on the weekend. He's like, so I got to make new friends that are also NCOs.
Yeah.
But he was like, but I'm also single, and so I still have to live in the barracks with all my lower enlisted old friends. And he's like, so I can't drink with my roommates. That was
Yeah.
that was the best explanation he could give. I'm like, that's crazy.
And crazy. I've heard that, but I've also heard that it's like a case by case. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's still a case by case. Some of them is still completely cool, but I've heard of those situations where like there's a lot of chain of command that's hyper anal about shit like that,
Mhm.
and they catch y'all chilling and shit. Like
But I feel like it also comes down to like a respect thing. Like
yes,
if those friends of yours that you are now promoted to sergeant, you're now an NCO, and they're still what considered lower enlisted non-NCOs, if they still respect you as a friend, but they also respect the rank and they treat you with that respect that you've earned,
yeah,
then I don't see anything wrong with that. But if they're gonna just treat you as the bro that used to be a specialist, I could see where that could become a problem.
So,
As far as the military goes.
so in my case, I was the how do I want to put it? So whenever I moved to the engineers, I was the most senior person. So I was kind of put in charge of everybody because I was in a detachment and there was only like freaking 7 of us, and then we slowly built up to being like 20. But the whole time I was there, I was like the only, even though I was a specialist, I was the most senior person. So everybody just kind of like looked to me for leadership, and then I got pinned by 5, and people had enough respect for my knowledge and my experience that I had just in the military in general, that even though I was cool with like the other specialists and stuff, that when I got promoted, like we still hung out.
Yeah.
And then as we got like staff sergeants and stuff started coming in and like actually taking their leadership roles, and we got a platoon sergeant. My platoon sergeant like randomly came up to me and was like, "Hey man, you spend a lot more time with the Joes than you do with your fellow NCOs, and it just has a bad look." And I was like, "That's crazy," like because I've been with these dudes for the last 4 years, and you're just showing up, and I don't know you. Like, that's why I'm hanging out with them. And
Well, I mean, your job's also to lead them.
yeah, exactly.
So you should spend time. You should get to know them in a way where you can actually like assist them with personal stuff.
Yeah.
Because you, as like their first line leader, their NCO, like that's who they're gonna come to more than like.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, there's a fine line. Like you don't want to be too close per se, but you want to be close enough that they trust you to come to you with their problems.
And I mean, maybe I did get a little too close sometimes. Like, I would go out drinking with them. We would hang out. I would say some of them were my friends, but it happens,
It's the guard, bro.
Yeah, it's the guard. Like, it doesn't really matter. But they also knew, they knew when we were doing work, like we were doing work. And
Yeah.
like if they fucked up and I started fussing at them, they knew that it was like coming from a good place. Like I did it because I cared type deal.
Yeah.
And like they weren't like, bro, like get the fuck off my balls type deal. Like they would accept what I had to say for what I had to say. So,
Right. That makes sense.
yeah. But yeah, anyway. I feel like we got a little off topic there. So.
Yeah, we're good. All right, this next one is extremely long. So,
I can see it from here. That's wild.
So bear with us.
Yep.
I, Tanker, was lane safety at a zeroing range for the M240 and the M249 for support type folk, and had a group of infantry guys come to zero their automatic rifles. Considering they were infantry and they should know what they were doing with a firearm, we stuck with them on the opposite side of the range to do their thing. Or we stuck them on the opposite side of the range to do their thing, while we walked the support types through how to not accidentally kill themselves.
Good point.
Their battle buddies were us tankers running the zero range. I was tasked out to be the lane safety for the infantry guys while they did their thing. They had spotting scopes that someone had brought, so that for the most part, I was just making sure none of them crossed the firing line while folks were shooting. While I'm done there, I noticed something that made my inner prior service Marine sense tingle. Their sergeant, who was demonstrating to these young 11 Bravos through how to zero their weapons, was firing only 1 or 2 rounds before attempting to make an adjustment. For my non-marksmanship inclined folk out there, you never fire less than 3 rounds between making sight adjustments. You need a grouping in order to determine mean point of impact and to account for the possibility that you pulled the round when firing. It takes this dude, who, by the way, had an active duty unit combat patch, over 15 minutes in order to fire 30 rounds. Remember, spotting scope, so he never had to actually go down to the target to check his impacts, was consistently jumping around with the adjustments to his sights, and was still making large adjustments at the end. Needless to say, I was perplexed. as this method made no sense and contradicted every bit of training I've received and reference material, Army, USMC, or civilian, I've read about how to effectively zero a weapon. So when he was done and taking a break, I, also a sergeant, asked him why he zeroed his weapon in that manner, and mentions that it contradicted everything I've been taught or read about zeroing, and that he wouldn't get an effective zero in that manner due to the variety of factors. His answer was something along the lines of, well, it's an open bolt weapon, so there's nothing particularly accurate about it, and therefore you're never gonna get an accurate zero. After hearing that load of bullshit, I groaned internally, succinctly brought the conversation to a close, and thankfully my shift as ranged support ended shortly after that.
Damn. Wow. So I've never heard of no shit like that. That's fucking crazy. I don't even think I've seen somebody attempt to zero anything in that manner. It's fucking crazy.
No, yeah. I mean, the way that that OP described how you should zero with at least 3 rounds
Yeah.
is the correct way per the book. You know,
I mean, even
to
your
zero.
M4, you shoot 3 rounds before
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go down.
And that's exactly for what he said. Like, you just need to have a good grouping. Like, 2 isn't a grouping, 3 is
Yeah.
minimum, right?
And then once you group, you move the group.
Yeah.
Effectively with adjustments. But yeah, that just was fucking insane. But also, so I don't know about y'all, I haven't done much of zeroing any of those weapon systems before.
Like a 240 or a 249.
Yeah, or a 249. No, I've never done
So,
that.
I mean, generally, like, you would only, like, sight it in if you're, like, sighting it in with, like, a scope, right? And so, if they had, like, an ACOG or, like, a thermal or something on one of these, and they're trying to zero it for that,
Yeah.
I can see kind of what they're talking about, but also, that being said, like, a 249 is extremely accurate. 240 isn't as accurate, right? And it depends on the type of barrel that you're using and all that stuff, and like ranges and things. Because out to a certain range, any cruiser weapon, right, or 240 or 249, is going to create what's called the beaten zone, right? And that's a zone where it's shooting within like a 5 to 8 foot or 2 meter radius,
radius.
and that's considered the beaten zone. So anything that walks within that zone while it's being fired is going to die, right?
Damn.
And the reason for that is like when the 240 and 249 was initially brought into the military, it was too accurate. It didn't create a beaten zone. It was just super fucking accurate. And so they had to actually make it less accurate to create the beaten zone, like what the military wanted. So,
Damn.
I mean,
Okay, I didn't know that.
but like having an open bolt system has nothing to do with
Yeah.
the weapon being accurate,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just putting lead down range, right?
100%.
So, I mean, he's wrong in that way, but then also like, I mean, I could see you making adjustments like up or down for like sight picture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is a machine gun that we're talking about, and like it all depends on what it's being used for and everything like that. I mean, you do still qualify with a 240
Yeah.
and a 249, right?
I've seen
And you have to do like, you know, like a J, and you have to do like an X and like all that stuff when you're doing your qualifications, right? But like you're generally going to just like adjust up or down and like right or left, you know, but it's going to be after you've shot, you know, 5 to 8 rounds. So I'm
Yeah.
not just like
and then adjusting, yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, you're gonna put it on your target, and you're gonna da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then you're gonna look at it and be like, all right, like, it looks like I need to go, you know, up or left or right, but I'd also shoot a little bit more than that, too, because it could just be trigger, it could just be that you're anticipating recoil. I mean, there's so many other things that go into it than just the weapon itself, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, like, from a small arms standpoint, there's a lot of information in there that's accurate from OP, but from the sergeant that's like instructing these other privates on how to properly do this, I don't think that he was doing it right
Yeah.
definitely.
based off the information given.
And I could be tripping, but I don't know.
It's just starting to feel like to me that like there's a lot of
Infantrymen that like you would expect them to know how to do certain things and they don't. I swear y'all, like across the board, I've been hearing that shit. Like just throughout me being in, And I don't know if this is an accurate thing, man, but I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I think I might have to visit some infantry guys.
No, I mean, but you're going to have different types of infantrymen, right?
hmm
Because you're going to have those infantrymen that take their job very seriously
hmm
and have a good understanding of what their job
True,
entails. And
true.
then you've got those infantrymen that are just like, oh, I'm just going to go out and shoot, and my job's just to
Put bullets down.
put bullets down
Yeah, put
range,
bullets down
right?
range, yeah.
Like they don't understand the tactical
hmm
aspects of being an 11 Bravo.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other side of the coin where it's like they are a master of their profession, so they understand everything that has to do with their weapon, everything that has to do
Yeah.
with like their troop leading procedures
Yeah.
and the purpose of it and all that stuff. So they understand like the functionality of the weapon that they're assigned to and that they're qualified with, so they would understand that there's like a beacon zone.
Yeah.
And they would understand that this weapon's only going to be accurate to X amount of whatever at X amount distances, all that stuff. But they would also know that you don't adjust
Yeah.
on the fly like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like I've shot plenty of machine guns, 240s and 249s alike, and the only time I can ever think that I've made adjustments is when I changed a barrel. You know, like fully changed the barrel, like reserialized and everything. And it was just to adjust it to the rear sight to make sure that it was where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But kind of wrapping up a little bit. Our last two comments have nothing to do with the topic. Sorry. One of them was, why is a Miltech federal technician job better than a Title V federal job? I mean, I'll touch on that just because I've been a technician. Miltech federal technician, I can't say one's better than the other. Being Miltech, you get two retirements. You get like your retirement from the military, and then you also get your federal retirement. So I guess you could say that that's better. But that's up to you. And then being Title V federal, like you just don't have to be in the military, right? Like there's zero military
Yeah.
requirement. So you don't have to be M-Day in a reserve component like the National Guard or the Army Reserves or whatever. You could just be a regular civilian and you could be in a Title V federal job. But you're going to work with military personnel regardless. So like on the Miltech side, some places require that like rank structure on the military side plays into what jobs you can and can't have. So you can't have like a specialist be in a position where they would be over a lieutenant, right, or over a sergeant, that kind of thing, right? So that kind of plays into those decisions on the military side, whereas on the Title V side, it doesn't matter. Like you could be the highest, seniority of a Title V position and still work with military personnel and has nothing to do with rank.
Yeah.
So I don't know if one's better than the other, but you do get two retirements on the mil side. So, and then our last comment was MRE is the thing since government cheese sliced bread.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, any last thoughts on there, Hunter?
For MREs being the thing.
Just in general.
In general, yeah.
Whole pod
I
for
feel
today.
like even we sidetracked a lot. We got more into talking about NCOs and like corruption, but
I mean, some of the comments kind of led us to like, that's a shitbag NCO though.
I mean, and that's really what it boils down to. A lot of that confidence comes from, I guess it's one of those like you got power before you needed to, so you feel like you're supposed to know something. So whatever you think is right, you're just going to say it's right.
You do get encouraged to be confident.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with being confident, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, I'll be the first one to admit, like, I've confidently said some seriously bullshit things and been
Oh, yeah.
completely wrong.
Oh yeah.
But I'm the kind of person that's gonna, like, go back and be like, hey, I was wrong. Here's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Right? Just because it's like, I don't want to give misinformation to somebody that's potentially going to affect them later on in their career, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want bad information to continue to go down. You want to stop it at the top if you can.
And I can vouch for Unsec on this one, guys. I've seen him do that in real time. So I've literally seen him do that.
So I guess what it boils down to is be confident, but also fact check yourself.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the best way to solve.
Be confident but open to correction.
Yeah, that's the best way to solve the speaking confidently wrong.
Yeah.
Be confident, know your answer, but always fact check. That's all I got to say on that.
Awesome. And then for any of our lower enlisted that are listening, don't. I'm gonna preface this in the right way.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to properly correct somebody that's in a superior position to you,
Yeah.
but do it
Properly.
properly.
There's
Don't
a
do it in a way.
tactful-
Yeah, tactfully, not in front of your peers.
And you can even like, cause
Um,
from my experience, I've done it in ways where you kind of just give them a nudge. You get what I'm saying? Like you give them a nudge and like, hey, bro, you kind of saying some bullshit or doing some bullshit, and they'll know. Like a lot of times they'll know, and it'd be like y'all can have like an almost non-verbal exchange about, all right, I need to fix myself. As and a leader, you know, they'd be like, all right, I need to fix myself. I got it. Yeah, you got it. So it's just ways you do it. It's just ways you do it. Or if you're playful, fuck like me, you can just like make a joke. And, you know,
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, making a joke is a pretty nonchalant way of kind of like nudging them towards like, oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Everybody will laugh about it, and then
Yeah.
he'll go back and correct himself and be like, "Yeah, okay, we all got to laugh about it.
Mhm.
That's your one, buddy." Yeah. That being said, as always, we appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening with us for a little while. We definitely appreciate you guys getting on and posting on this Reddit, giving us that feedback and stuff like that. So hey, continue to do what you guys are doing, and we'll keep making these podcasts. And hope you guys enjoy them. Without further ado, you want to take it away, Tim?
Yep. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe and like our content. And if you got suggestions as things that you'd like to hear in the future, let us know on our Reddit page or TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. And until next time.
or Lami.